Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Cataclysm Crew Issue 4, Lightning Strikes. On the cover, Tyrannus occupies the foreground, throwing a static charged punch at Poison Oak. In the background, Rascal King, Machina, and Etheril struggle to break free from vines that will trap them. We turn the page, and our story begins. Our first panel is on the park, and it's a bit chaotic. There is massive amounts of vegetation from Poison Oak just kind of growing out of places where there wasn't vegetation before. The team is in all sorts of places right now, and we get a voice bubble cutting across the page that says,
"If you want the animals, here you go."
We then see a close-up of Max throwing Squire at Poison Oak.
And I'm trying to hurt him. So with Squire's help, that brings it to a flat roll. Nice.
Great, go ahead and mark potential. We see a close-up on Squire's face as you throw her, and she is just terrified. She's like, this is not the plan, this is not what we discussed. And then we're going to jump back over to Tyrannus. Tyrannus, I assume you are now walking across the field towards them?
Yep.
It looked like we had a moment where it almost looked like he wasn't going to attack anymore. And then the kid in the raccoon costume threw his raccoon friend at Poison Oak. What do you do?
Have I been debriefed about Poison Oak? Like, am I aware of anything major about him other than he is Poison Oak?
Having come from Saber, you probably know a fair bit about him. At least what I told everyone else. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll let you know if you know that.
Like, do I know he's many years old, so on and so forth?
Yes, absolutely.
And I am aware that he is also Viking.
Yep.
I want to, as I'm walking across the field, I want to say, we already put you down once, Leaf. Sit down again. And I want to say that specifically in like an Irish, he says that in a very Gaelic, almost Irish accent. Trying to, not necessarily, I don't know if it's provoking, but as soon as I say that, I take both hands and put them in front of me to do a reality storm, and I am just exploding powers towards him. Exploding electrical arcs at him.
Awesome. So with that reality storm, if you don't spend a second burn, you'll cause some collateral damage.
Yes, and I plan on doing so.
Fantastic. All right, on a 7 or 9, you can pick one.
I want it to impress, frighten, or I want it to frighten the opposition. I want the image in his head to be of the ancient Irish god, ancient Gaelic god of thunder, Tyrannus, hitting him with lightning.
Yeah, I think that's an image he could definitely conjure. I think Poison Oak hasn't even had a chance to really react after he heard the voice when your reality storm just overcomes him. What does that look like on paper?
I put both my hands forward like a, almost like a Kamehameha wave of sorts type deal, directly in front of me. And just, yeah, like a beam, except it's just a erratic lightning, just large, massive, probably. This is one that would strike, if it struck an oak tree, would tear it down to its and burn its core. So as the beam travels towards him, so there's bits and pieces of it that are striking the ground and charring the ground as it passes.
Fantastic. That beam hits Oak very, very solidly. Unfortunately, even with that second burn to reduce collateral damage, Oak was still holding on to Rascal King.
Oh no!
So Rascal King's gonna get knocked back. Like, he goes flying backwards.
Poor kid.
We see in a panel that his phone is still recording, which isn't something that you can do, but in this world it is. And we get the panel of Rascal King just like flying over his phone as it records. Rascal King, go ahead and take a powerful blow for me.
Cool. While I do that, where did Squire end up out of all that?
Poor
Squire, okay?
poor raccoon.
Let's see what you roll on this take a powerful blow. Great. So on a 10 plus, you can choose one.
Okay, let's go with, I'm going to mark 2 conditions as I hit the ground. And where's Etheril at the moment?
You got knocked pretty hard by that lightning blast. Etheril's standing about where the blast happened, so you're probably about 35 to 40 yards to the right.
Alright, so I'm grossly misjudging this situation and just assuming Tyrannus is a bad guy.
So it's kind of all I've seen them do so far is shoot a blast of electricity at a friend and myself.
Also, he's in a Saber uniform, and they haven't really been nice to us.
Yeah. So I'm going to, as I hit the ground, yell out to Etheril, "Are you going to do something and actually stop him?"
Go ahead and roll to provoke.
Alright, on a 7 to 9, you can either give them the carrot or the stick.
If they don't do it, they mark a condition.
But before we resolve that, we're going to jump back over to Machina.
I feel like,
yeah.
There's a panel of, her getting up, and, so she just kind of got all of that electricity. Her hair is just, totally standing on end, and, her pupils are, wider. She's just gotten a big boost of energy, and she's pumped.
Is the Wi-Fi symbol, glowing stronger than normal?
Sure.
So into it.
So how far back is she, and where is Poison Oak now?
Poison Oak just got launched towards you. In fact, he's probably in the air en route to landing about 10 feet in front of you right now. You're about 25, 30 yards in front of Etheril and Tyrannus, and Rascal King somewhere off to your left there.
Cool. I think I want to go after Poison Oak once he lands.
Yeah, and just about at this moment, he crash lands in front of you, and Squire, who was previously on him, goes launching over your head and kind of lands somewhere behind you. And in the background of whatever you're about to do, you see Squire, dusting herself off, brushing her coat. She seems frustrated, but not hurt.
So, Poison Oak lands, and feeling all of this electricity, and I don't think she was paying much attention to what had previously been happening with Alan joining in. And so she's gonna take her electrified hands and kind of just put them on Poison Oak's face and try to send a shock through him.
Great, go ahead and roll to directly engage a threat. You're gonna roll plus danger.
Cool. 9.
Am I close by?
No, you're pretty far off. You just got knocked through the
Okay.
air in the other direction. Squire's pretty close if you want to have Squire do something.
Maybe as reaching for Poison Oak's head, Squire runs in and does a nice little flying kick to knock its head a little closer to give a +1.
Great, that's a 10. We can spend that team. And now on a 10 plus, you can pick 2.
I think since it's just her, she wants to try to impress the opposition. She hasn't gotten a chance to really throw one at him and be "That's for insulting my dad."
Do you say that?
No, she doesn't say that. That's just what she's trying to do.
Fantastic, and you can pick one more.
I don't know about creating an opportunity because I think everyone's too far. I think I'm going to try to resist or avoid their blows.
Great, so you send that shockwave into him, and the power that was just surging through you was that green-blue color, so his eyes literally light up that color for a second. There's this look of fear that passes through his face really quickly, because lightning passing through an oak tree is akin to fire, and then his eyes close and he slumps forward and he's down for a moment. Let's jump back to Etheril. Etheril, how are you attacking Tyrannus?
I'm attacking Alan because Rascal King told me to attack him and provoked me to do so. So I have to unless I want to take a condition. So I'm making a mad dash over to Alan. I'm flying through. It's I fly at him. I turn intangible and get behind him, and then I inject 2 testosterone blockers into him.
Great. So you go to inject Tyrannus with this chemical. Go ahead and roll to directly engage a threat.
I got a 5. Yeah, I got potential.
Great, mark potential. You go to inject Tyrannus, and immediately a net just from nowhere wraps around you. And as you're pulled backwards, you look and see missing links on the edge of the park, pulling you back with his net gun. Let's jump over to Machina really quick, and then we'll come back to the situation over here. So, Machina, you just sent a bolt of electricity through Poison Oak, and then your teammate tried to stab the person who saved you, and then got wrapped in a net. What do you do?
How's Poison Oak looking?
A little worse for wear.
I think I'm going to leave them be
Great.
and just focus on Poison Oak. So, like, where are we in terms of the park? Like, what's around us?
You're currently in the middle of a field. Your group's about 30 yards away. Near them is a changing room. Behind you is a grove of trees.
Could I try, like, unleashing my powers and trying to send, like, current in the area around us to try to, like, get rid of the vegetation?
Like the sentient vegetation, or like you want to kill all the branches and stuff around him?
Like, if we're in a field and I'm assuming that we're surrounded by grass. So just trying to get, like, the grass within, like, 5 to 10 feet of us to go away.
Great. Yeah. So there's probably underground wires you could pull electricity from.
8.
Great. On a 7 to 9, you can either mark condition, or I'll tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
Yeah, go ahead and tell me that it's unstable or temporary.
Great. So are you like slamming your hands into the ground? What does this look like?
I think she's gonna like grab like some fistfuls of grass,
Great. So as you reach
trying to
down,
like send it out through the roots.
Absolutely. So you reach down and grab the grass, and it feels like there's electricity like coming up through the ground. And as you channel your energy, it feels like almost like an explosion under the ground, except it comes out in this ripple. And you watch as all the grass around you just kind of fries, and then the electricity still rushing up, and all of the grass that has just fried and died immediately catches fire. And so you and Poison Oak are surrounded by this essentially ring of flame.
Squire immediately runs up, Machina's like leg, and is like perched on the shoulder, like hands on top of the head, worriedly looking down.
And you hear this bellowing from Poison Oak. He's on the ground, surrounded by this flame in agony. But you are also in the fire, so I'm going to have you go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
9.
Great. On a 7 to 9, choose one.
I'm gonna give ground to try to get out of the fire.
Yeah, you get out of the fire, you jump back, and all of a sudden these massive vines just like reach over and pick him up and just start essentially swaddling him. Poison Oak's chest is charred, it is covered in embers, and this vegetation is just enveloping him and making this like mass of leaves and branches and such. And we're gonna jump back over to Tyrannus. What do you do?
Ignoring the guy who, like,
Girl.
Tyrannus doesn't even pay attention to Etheril. I want to burn. I want to charge again, and start running towards that thing. And
Yep, absolutely. Go ahead and burn.
Is that happening like as you're running? Because I love that panel.
yeah, that would be the idea. Is it's as he's running towards this thing, he's charging his power.
Can I toss out that maybe there's like an arc, like Machina's electricity that like arcs to?
I love that image, but on a miss, you still got a hold 2, but you do have to mark 3 conditions. What conditions are you marking?
He is going to mark. He's already got insecure. He's going to mark. I've got to mark 3. He is marking angry. He's marking angry, guilty, and hopeless. He's afraid that if this doesn't work, things might get worse.
Great, so now you've charged your burn and you're running across the field towards this swelling mass of vegetation. What do you do next?
I want to overcharge. I'm going to take a 10 plus to unleash my powers. And the overcharge is you channel the full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. I am going to I'm basically going to release as much electricity around me to sever Poison Oak's ties to anything nature around him and remove him from the field.
What does that look like on the page?
So you got the panel of him running across the field. He's charging up. He leaps in the air, and then basically lightning flies down from the sky. You see a bolt of lightning come from the sky. It hits Tyrannus, and then everything, it looks like just a massive light wave bursts forth from Tyrannus towards Poison Oak.
With this panel, could we see this like in Machina's eyes, which are like super wide, like, yes!
Yeah, I think we'll see the first part of it, and then we'll see a panel of the exact same shot, but from Machina's eyes.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, he leaps in the air and it's just like boom, boom, and it like he's just redirecting the fury of the heavens towards Poison Oak.
Yeah, your first blast of lightning hits this mass of vegetation and just severs all of the vines around him. And I think this is where we jump to Machina's point of view, and we see this blast of lightning and this look of like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then we do get a slight emotional shift as she realizes that all of those vines that have just been severed are now falling towards her. They're probably not going to hurt her, but she will likely get buried under them. After all the vines have fallen, a second blast of lightning just comes and knocks him into the air, and then a third blast of lightning hits him and knocks him basically directly onto the roof of the bathroom. And with that, we're going to jump back over to Rascal King. Rascal King, you've probably just gotten up from that blast. You've had a second to collect yourself, and then Poison Oak goes flying through the air and lands on the roof of the bathroom right above you. What do you do?
What is Poison Oak doing once they hit?
He is
They
not
seem-
moving. He is still.
Okay, and Missing Links is still dragging Etheril off in a net.
No, she mainly just shot the net around Etheril and pulled her back, but she's just standing there watching, and Etheril's kind of on the ground.
Okay, so like glancing over the situation real quick, it seems like Poison Oak isn't a big threat. I'm going to start stomping towards Missing Links, picking up my phone along the way.
Awesome, you are still alive, and you have a lot of viewers right now.
I probably don't notice that I'm live, and I probably just put my phone in my pocket. So there's like no video, but there's definitely still audio.
Great.
And like as I'm like heading towards Missing Links, I'm just yelling, "What the hell? We had it under control, and then you're in here throwing lightning bolts at my friends." And I'm probably picking up speed and like full on running at her.
And he's still pumped up on testosterone and adrenaline, so...
Yeah, you barrel towards her. She doesn't seem all that affected by it. She and Boost are standing side by side, and she kind of just cocks an eyebrow. Sassy is on the ground by her feet, of course. That's important to know.
I punch her in the face.
Great. Go ahead and roll to directly engage a threat.
All right. You go to punch, and immediately Boost just raises their heel up and just sends a blast of energy into your stomach. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow for me.
Okay. I hit a tree, and I am knocked the fuck out.
Great. Yeah, you get close to punching Missing Links, and then Boost blasts you back. You hit a small tree, and you were unconscious. Or at least stunned for a bit. And with that, let's jump over to Etheril. Etheril, what do you want to do?
Well, first off, I'm going to phase through the net and get out of it.
I'm going to have you roll to unleash your powers for that. This is a Saber-made net, and it was probably made with, like, superhuman and anti-human forces in mind.
I got a 10.
Great. You phase right at it.
I also do an area of effect with my ecstasy and just unleash it everywhere.
Cool, that's probably not moving quick enough to reach anyone yet, but it will eventually get to Missing Links and Boost. It's probably close enough to affect Rascal King, but he's down, so... It also probably reaches Poison Oak, but it hasn't reached anyone else just yet.
I want it to affect Alan. I just want it to affect everyone in the area, especially the camera crew.
It's definitely close enough to affect the camera crew. They have been pretty closely following the action. If you were trying to reach Alan, it would be a concentrated effort. You'd have to, like, blast it at him. So go ahead and roll to unleash your powers.
7.
On a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition, or I can tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
Unstable. Tell
Great.
me how it's unstable.
It seems like it has a negative impact on the reporter. The camera crew's like, yeah, they're doing a great job, but the reporter turns to the camera and says, "These teenage superheroes are coming in and destroying our park. I thought we were getting some heroics today, but instead, look at them. They broke the bathroom." She then stomps over to Etheril and puts a mic right in her face. Max, you're probably stirring at this point. You're not active, but you're probably starting to wake up. And she puts the mic in Etheril's face and says, what are you called? Like, what's your team?
The Cataclysmic crew.
You certainly are cataclysmic. Well, you heard it from the horse's mouth here, folks. The Cataclysm crew is here to destroy our public property, destroy our parks. You know what? That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving. And she turns and she storms away, the camera crew kind of like sheepishly following her. With that, let's jump back over to Machina and Tyrannus. Tyrannus, Machina has just been covered in vines. Poison Oak was knocked away. What do you want to do?
Actually, my plan is to help Machina out of the vines. And then I want to do that first quickly, help her out of the vines and help her up. And then I want to go make the capture, quote unquote, air quotes, on Poison Oak.
Great. Yeah, you go and help Machina up out of the vines, offer her your hand. Machina, he helps you up.
I'm sorry about that. I did not mean to hit you with that.
It's cool. That's some cool lightning.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anyone see where Poison Oak went?
Check on top of the bathroom.
Ah, great. Good. Thank you. Alan's going to walk off at this point, walking that.
He's on the roof.
He's on the roof. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say.
occupied.
Anyways, as he reaches the bathroom, how tall is this? Is it like a single story, 2-story, 3-story?
Yeah, it's a single story. It's probably like 10 feet to the top.
Okay, so I boost myself onto the roof, and then I basically am going to materialize I was going to say collar, but basically handcuffs out of the uniform. Maybe a gadget pocket or something, I don't know. And then place handcuffs on him and first check if he's alive, and then handcuff him for Saber to take him away.
Poison Oak is alive. He groans as you handcuff him, and then you lead him to the edge of the building. A small Saber team has arrived to take care of the situation, so a hero who can mold earth essentially makes a path for you from the rooftop to the van. Then the Saber team leaves, leaving behind Boost, Missing Links, you, and the Cataclysm crew.
I think Machina wants to go over and check on Rascal King.
Are you shaking him or...
Yeah, I think kind of like shaking him and like fumbling around the wrist, like, where the fuck is the pulse? I never learned how to do this.
Yeah. I like to posit that Rascal King looks pretty wretched at this point, like a big old black eye, probably just bloodied face. Like he is pretty roughed up from that.
Yeah, he's not doing great. He's a little beat up, split lip, probably black eye. And Machina and Rascal, as you're standing there, a shadow appears over you, and the two of you look up and it's Missing Links. She looks down at you and says, "You do know that Poison Oak is one of the strongest villains around right now, and you all are kids. What makes you think you could take him on?"
You weren't there.
"You're right, I wasn't, but I did see it on the news and immediately sent someone. And besides, it's not like Rascal King doesn't have my number."
You told me not to call.
I'm pulling my cell phone into view at this point, probably like hanging on Machina just to stay stable.
She's got like an arm around his shoulder, like holding him up.
"You have my communicator number. I gave you the Saber number for a reason."
I'm sorry, in between, saving all the kids and trying not to get eaten by a pterodactyl, I didn't have time.
Oh, but you had time to go live on Instagram?
Our generation, we're real quick with that stuff.
She's trying to shift your label. She's trying to shift your mundane up and your superior down.
No. It's not gonna go well, but I'm gonna reject it. Okay. I did the thing.
Woo!
10.
10. I'm going to shift one label up and one label down. And I'm going to do the cancel their influence and take one forward against them, but I'm immediately giving them influence back. Because, there's no way Lynx doesn't have influence on Rascal King.
What are you shifting up and shifting down?
I'm going to shift my danger up and my savior down.
She turns and she looks at you and says, "Saber is against my better judgment, interested in most of your team.
Machina raises a hand to high five Max.
He reluctantly high fives. He's very torn about this. He's very much not into the idea of working with Saber, but 100% into the idea of anything that makes them a thorn in Lynx's side.
She looks at the group of you and says, "We really would like for you all to work as a team, and Saber really would like to have you as part of our team. But we have to know you're not going to do something stupid. And speaking of team, have you all met Tyrannus, by the way?" And she gestures for you to come over.
I was going to say at that point, I would have been conversating with the other Saber people who were taking Poison Oak away. So yeah, I'm going to walk over to the rest of the team. Hello.
Hey, I may have misjudged the situation. You were pretty awesome out there. Those lightning bolts are cool.
Thank you. Okay, I'm actually going to pull my mask back to show that I'm a lot more timid than the Tyrannus personality gives off.
As the mask comes off, Machina and Rascal King, you immediately recognize this person. Alan was kind of a big deal in school because of the whole getting struck by lightning thing, and everyone remembers that. So you probably recognize him. Alan, are you friends with the two of them?
I was going to say that I would be friends with Machina, her civilian side. I would be friends with her in school.
She's 15, so she's a grade below him.
I would say he got held back due to the situation and him disappearing for, I guess the cover story would have been hospitalization or something like that. And then came back in the same grade as Amber.
Cool.
I don't know if I'd be friends with Max.
Are Amber and Alan friends, or did they just know each other?
I would say friends.
Okay. So once Amber gets a second to be like, oh my God, it's Alan. She's gonna pull back her mask to be like, hey.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry about the electricity thing. I didn't hurt you, did I?
I'm literally made of electricity.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Rascal King. I didn't mean to hit you with that.
Hey, mistakes happen, and I think we could all learn to be a bit more forgiving and kind of look at missing links.
She glares at you, and then she turns to Tyrannus, and she says, "Tyrannus, you've had some incredible training, but clearly your field skills need some work, and I don't know that Saber can provide that kind of work. Honestly, I think the best thing for all of us right now is for you to take a step back from the organization and see what you can learn on your own. We'll be in touch when you're ready, but until then, I guess we'll see you around."
As she says that, you see this remarkably definite shift in personality as he's paying attention to missing links. It's from that timid high school kid who doesn't know really what he's doing to soldier almost when he's listening to her. Stands up straight, soldier when he's listening to missing links. Not necessarily to the point of a salute, but really close.
She puts her hand on your shoulder, and it's almost affectionate. It's not quite, but it almost is. And she looks at you and says, "I really do hope we can work together soon. But you need to get yourself under control first."
Yes, ma'am.
She shakes your hand and then walks away and leaves the four of you standing over here. Or rather, Rascal King is leaning, but the three of you are standing. What do you do?
I'm gonna reach into my pocket and pull up my phone. Notice I'm still streaming. Oh. Hey, masks on, everybody. Let's say bye.
I throw my mask on quickly.
Machina also puts hers on.
Rascal kind of gets a whole panorama view of the scene, ends with holding the camera out with one hand, a nice little group shot and a thumbs up, and then cuts the feed. I really hope I didn't reveal anyone's secret identity during that.
I don't know, but thanks for saving me at the beginning of the fight.
Yeah, someone juiced me up or something. I'm looking at Etheril.
Juice or whatever. It was really cool. Thanks.
I get like a shit-eating grin on my face, which at this point probably just hurts. So it's like a big grin that kind of turns into a grimace.
Yeah, when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, ask if you've earned their respect.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, you definitely have. Like, I got my ass kicked. I did like one cool thing, and you held your own that whole fight.
Cool. It says to take influence over them and mark potential. And I
Oh.
already have influence over Max.
Sounds like my labels are getting shifted again.
I'm going to shift up superior and down freak. And I've also gotten all my potential. So I'm going to take another move from my playbook. I'm going to add the change sides one.
I want to turn to Etheril and be like, "Hey, are you all right? You took some pretty big hits out there, but man, you were awesome." I'm trying to.
Are you
comfort
comforting
or
and support?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
And that's a 10. Great. On a 10 plus, they hear you. They can either clear a condition, mark potential, or shift labels if they open up to you. And you can also clear a condition or add a team to the pool yourself.
I am absolutely clearing a condition myself. I think I'm no longer afraid.
And Etheril, if you open up, you get to clear a condition, mark potential, or shift labels.
Thanks. That's pretty cool of you. You know, for a human. I guess this planet's not so bad. As if there's people like you around.
That was really sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
I think for most people that wouldn't be opening up. I think with Etheril's aloofness, showing that there's some connection to this world is like Max would definitely consider that opening up.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my fifth potential.
Rascal King, as she opens up to you, your stomach starts to growl, and you realize that in your haste to get over to the park, you haven't eaten all day. And looking around the group, it looks like everybody could use some food, so what do you want to do?
You guys want to get some food? And
Yeah.
like, you gotta like. Well, I guess I'm probably just gonna reveal my identity. Like, probably starting to walk like out of the park. How many people are around? Is it still a bunch of civilians, or is it mainly been cleared out? Because
It's mainly been cleared out.
There's maybe one or two Saber people, but they're not really paying attention.
Cool. I'm just gonna start stripping my my super suit off as we walk.
So where are you all going? What's your go-to restaurant as a group?
Anything as long as it has patio seating. 'Cause I think that's I think Squire hides off in a alley and then joins us when no one's watching.
I think Amber's going to want to make a detour to go and get some sort of first aid kit type stuff to try to patch up Max since he's looking kind of rough.
Well, Etheril probably has stuff on her.
Yep, I have a vehicle that can do that.
So there's an indoor-outdoor sushi place not too far from you on the park. Are you all walking over there, or are you taking Etheril's vehicle? What's the plan?
I'm either walking or taking the bus, unless someone else has a better way.
I'm walking. I like walking.
I'm gonna
It's
pull
fine.
out
I
my.
think that'd be a good
Oh,
panel.
I'm gonna pull out my Kirby craft, and if Max over here wants to get patched up on the way over, we can do that.
Perfect. So are Alan and Amber walking while Max and Etheril catch the Kirby craft?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Alan and Amber can catch up.
Awesome. So Alan and Amber walk off as the Kirby craft arrives. Does it have to fly in from somewhere, or is it expanding?
It expands. It's size changeable.
So it kind of pops up, and we now have Max and Etheril.
I think Max probably tried to walk, but realizes there's gonna be a hellish 2 blocks because he's got to just limp in his way there, and then accepts the ride.
Great, so the two of you float the 2 blocks. You're probably not going that quickly, because Max isn't in a great place. So we've got the two of you in the Kirby craft.
Well, you'll see a scene where I'll be I'll get some gauze and some ointment, and I'll patch up his eye. I'll stitch up his lip. I'll inject him with something that will reduce swelling. Give him a little bit of morphine to knock back the pain.
So where'd you learn to do all this?
Astron, my home planet.
You don't ever really
Medical
talk
student.
about it. Why'd you leave?
I really don't want to talk about it. It's really stupid.
Huh. Alright.
Then you get a scene where I jump in the pilot seat.
Awesome. Do we get the same scene of Alan and Amber? Is there anything you want the audience to hear while you chat?
I feel like Amber would want to like kind of catch up and like they just found out that one of their friends is also a superhero. Like, wait, hold on. Let's fill in that backstory.
Cool. Alan, how about you tell Amber?
I just have been, I've just been training. I got, hurt, and just they took me in and taught me how to use my powers. It's I guess kind of crazy. I've been doing a lot of just like normal stuff, I guess.
I mean, I guess that explains why you never hang out with us outside of school.
Well, yeah, I don't really have that much of a family. Mom said I was a freak, so kind of got taken under Saber's wing a little bit. They've really helped me though. They helped me kind of grow into myself a little bit. It's really been nice. They have really nice facilities, and they taught me to control my powers. Now I can, as I'm saying this and walking, I'm like an orb of electricity appears above my hand, and I'm like kind of fidgeting with it. I can do this now without any problems, without risking blowing up every light fixture on the street.
That sounds a little bit like you're sharing a vulnerability or weakness.
Yeah, I would say I am, yeah.
Go ahead and activate that team move then.
Okay, so my team move says, when you share a vulnerability or weakness, someone tell them how they could stop you if it came down to it. Give them influence over you and clear a condition. A way to stop. Alan is incredibly afraid of losing control. So, I guess in his dossier it would say to beat him would be to convince him he can't control his powers anymore. And he will fall apart.
Awesome. So then Machina gets influence over you, and you get to clear a condition.
I think so he's like doing the electricity with his hand. Amber grabs his hand and kind of like absorbs it, and you kind of like see her hair, like her hair stand up, and like her pupils get wide. And like, okay, that's still really cool.
And there's definitely a moment where, even though you're grabbing his hand to get the electricity, your hands don't quite release. And then they release very quickly, and you're at the sushi place. We then get a panel in through the window of the four of you ordering sushi, Squire's in the alley, and then a top-down view of the four of you around a table outside, Squire sitting next to you all. You're laughing, drinking water, chatting, and high above you, we see the pterodactyl flying.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Hugh, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or at TPHuth94 on Instagram. Cataclysm Crew is GM'd by TP Huth. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yulin on Instagram. Etheril Moon is played by Zweifang. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, Please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.